Hey, I'm Dagmar Kuziak. I'm so glad that you stopped on my page. One of the things that I want to talk about today with you is loneliness because it is a huge problem. A lot of us think only us single people deal with loneliness, but it's not the case. You can be in a relationship and feel lonely. You can be surrounded by people and feel lonely. You can be successful, driven, accomplished, which I'm sure you are, and still feel lonely. After the pandemic, we heard a lot about loneliness. COVID didn't create loneliness, it actually exposed it. The real problem isn't the lack of people because people are everywhere. You can have access to people everywhere. The problem is finding real connection. Where do you find meaningful conversations? A place where you can have honest feedback, a place where you feel like you can trust the people around to talk about the hard stuff. Where do you find a place where there aren't superficial conversations? People who challenge you to grow, people that you can be yourself around, people who don't disappear the moment conversations become uncomfortable. I mean, let's face it, many of us have been hurt. We've been rejected, misunderstood, betrayed. So, what do you want to do? You want to be careful. You want to stay guarded. But that guarded doesn't get you very far. It actually makes you really lonely. Because you know what you do when you're guarded? You stay quiet when something bothers you. You avoid difficult conversations. That's what we end up doing. We end up overthinking texts and interactions. We ask for less than we need. And over time, we start protecting ourselves instead of connecting, which is a super lonely place to be. And that's why I created Beam, Becoming Emotionally Available Mastery. Beam is a mastermind for growth minded people who want deeper conversations without losing themselves in the process. It's not a dating app. It's not another networking event. It's not group therapy. And it's not another social media group. It's a community where people come together to practice the skills that create healthy relationships. Everyone in this group is active. They're actively working on themselves and actively communicating. There's communication, there's boundaries, there's confidence building, honest conversations, emotional regulation, and learning how to stay true to yourself when relationships feel uncomfortable. What I learned long time ago, and I wish I actually learned this sooner than 12 years ago, is not all discomfort is bad. You know that feeling when you're like, oh, this doesn't feel good. This conversation isn't feeling good for me. And then you want to disconnect. Well, there's a healthy discomfort that leads to growth, and there's toxic discomfort that tells us something isn't right. And most people aren't taught the difference. I certainly wasn't. And it took me years to learn that. Most people don't need more information. What they really need is a place to practice because knowing what to do and actually doing it are two very different things. Inside Beam, you'll be surrounded by people who are actively working on themselves and actually doing the work. This is not a place for passively consuming content. You're going to have access to my clear framework, which you'll learn about as you get into this mastermind. There's going to be relationship trainings, coach recordings, live support, guest experts like Stu Messingal. He's Tony Robbins' long-term international trainer, Sandra Gonzalez, and other world-class leaders in personal growth and human behavior. But the greatest value isn't the content. It's the community, the conversations, the perspectives, the accountability, the relationships you build with people who are committed to growth. And the one thing that's important to understand, this isn't groupthink. I get that a lot. Dagmar, I'm not big into communities because this sounds like a groupthink. It's not groupthink. I don't believe there's one right way. I believe clarity comes from curiosity. It comes from the questions, from hearing different perspectives, from learning what has worked for other people, and discovering what works for you. That's the most important part. This has to be working authentically for you. Just like when you read a great book, you take what serves you and you leave the rest. Many times we're not stuck because we don't have the answers. We're stuck because we haven't asked ourselves the right questions. There's a lot of real growth that happens in here. And that's why I'm here. My clients often ask me, what's next? They've improved their relationships, they've strengthened their boundaries, built confidence, created healthier connections, found their purpose, and they want a place to continue growing alongside other people that are doing the work. And that's why Beam exists. That's what's next. It's Beam. Social media gives us so much content, and honestly, it can be very confusing. And most people, like yourselves, like myself, we're consuming a lot of content out there on personal development. Inside Beam, we're practicing it. So if you're tired of trying to figure this out alone, if you're tired of endless content and conflicting advice, if you're ready to surround yourself with growth minded people who want deeper connection, healthier relationships, and real conversation, join us inside Beam. Take a look at what my clients are saying. Look for yourself instead of listening to just me. See what's possible when people stop repeating patterns, they start building healthier relationships, and they surround themselves with a community that supports their growth. Nothing changes if nothing changes. The best opportunities in my life, they came from taking a chance on myself. Maybe this is one of those moments for you too. I'd love to see you inside. What's the risk here? I don't see any risk. So go ahead. I hope to see you inside, and I hope that you get to start your first month today. I really hope that you choose you today.